and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma. If you don't know me already, I make houseplanty content all over the internet, so if you want to follow along with my planty journey and learn something along the way, stick around, subscribe to my channel, and watch some more of my videos. Today, it's Sunday. I figured to have a bit of a lazy Sunday Repot Q&A chat sort of thing going on. I have quite a few plants that need change. I want to say quite a few, I've got like 4 to do in this video that need a bit of a change. I'm gonna put some on moss poles. I'm gonna make some more lazy moss poles. Just do some general repotting. I've made up my soil mixture already. It's a mixture of Soil Ninja's Monstera and Philodendron soil, perlite, and bark. Good stuff. And I've also got some spare bark here to make it extra barkier if that's something I want. So yeah, shall we go on? Shall we begin? I think the first thing I want to do is I want to use this moss pole. I was thinking about putting this Scindapsus Trebi dark form on there. Oh, you can like barely see it against my jumper, but it's like a very gorgeous little plant. Mine isn't doing its very best at the minute. Like, it's just a bit floppy. I think it's a little bit too big for the pot. I've lost a couple leaves lately, and I just think it needs a bit of support and it would really benefit from that. And so I'm going to put it on the pole. I haven't had a look at the roots ever since I potted it up a while ago. So it probably needs something. Let me pull up some questions while I do that. Oh my god, I love this question. So someone said, I've never had a pest problem. Is that normal? Am I just not seeing them when my plants die? That is a very interesting question. It is quite possible that your plants do have pests, you just don't know about them. I think that's common, especially if you're like newer in the plant world and you're not like super duper familiar with what plant like pests look like. You could be experiencing pests and just not knowing. But it's also possible that if you're being really careful, you're not gonna get pests. Like, that's completely possible. I didn't think I had pests for the longest time until I got like quite a few more plants, and getting a lot of plants really kind of probably made it a better like sort of breeding ground for the pests. And so like also the more plants you have, the more likely it is that you're gonna bring one in that has pests, or if you're ordering online or something, or if you're trading a lot. It's just something that can happen. I wouldn't like worry about it too much, but if your plants are not doing very well, you should probably have a look at them and like give them an extra big check before you like throw them away or put them next to other things. Also, if you're not quarantining your plants before you add them to your collection when they're new, you should start doing that. I go in and out of doing that. I oftentimes forget just because I'm lazy and I just want to see them with the rest of my collection right away. I know that's not good. I probably shouldn't do that, but like it is best to quarantine them for a little while and just make sure that they have had that time to really, one, adapt to your home, but also you can keep an eye on them for pests for the first like week or two a bit easier, and then they're not touching other plants if you do find something that's not right, if that makes sense. So I think it's completely normal to not have pests. It just depends on your situation and your plants. But I wouldn't worry too much, but just keep an eye out. As long as you're checking, that's what matters, right? So I just filled the bottom of this moss pole with bark. I find doing that really works well because you don't want the like soil to be too wet if you're using a moss pole like this, because I try not to water the soil of the plant. I pretty much only water the moss pole, and then the soil just gets watered through that. So that works really well. Have I ever fallen out of love with plants? This person is making their collection smaller for this reason. Yeah, I do fall out of love with plants, and I do talk about it occasionally. Do you want to go up, baby? Do you want to go on the windowsill? Is that it? You want to go in the cabinet? Am I blocking your way? Is that better? She just wants to be a part of the video. That was another question. How's Cleo? She's really good. She just had lunch, so she's a bit exploratory at the minute, so sorry if I get distracted by her. There you go. You can sit in the window there. That's perfect. Yeah, she's doing really well. What was I saying? Is it normal to fall out of love with plants? Yes, it happens. Like, you can't love all of your plants all the time. I know some people say that they don't fall out of love with their plants, and that's also something that might be true for them, but I do. Sometimes I've bought a plant like on impulse and I didn't actually really know about it or know how to take care of it, and then I'm just kind of like stuck with a plant that I don't know enough about to take care of, and I can't do it very well. And I know that, is that falling out of love with a plant if I've just done it badly? Ooh. These roots look a bit rotted. That is no good. Is that why you weren't doing so hot? So it has way less roots on it than I thought it was. Right, change of plan for this one. I'm going to root it. So I'm going to put this to the side and put something else in this pot because it's already prepared. Okie doke. We're going to put this in there instead. So this is my Varicosum No ID that I got in a plant swap. It's just been rooting in moss for a while now, like moss and sort of pond mixture, I think. And it's just been chilling in the IKEA cabinet, but it definitely wants, goodness, Cleo's just had some zoomies, but it definitely wants something to climb. It's got a bit outrageous in there, so I'll give it something to climb. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. It's totally normal to fall out of love with plants, and it's totally normal to downsize your collection because of it. I made a video just before I moved of downsizing my collection. I went through every single plant I had and decided whether I wanted to keep or sell it. Kind of like Marie Kondo style, like if it brought me joy, I would keep it, and if it stopped sparking that joy, I got rid of it. I sold it, I gave it away, I gave it to friends. So that's kind of, it's normal. It happens. Like, you can't love everything all the time, and especially if you've got a lot of plants, the likelihood that you're gonna absolutely love all of them constantly, I doubt it. Like, people who can, great, but I can't do that. What's my biggest personal pet peeve when it comes to plants? I don't know if you're asking like about plant people or just plants in general. So when it comes to plants, I get annoyed when I can't tell what's wrong with them. That really annoys me. Like, just tell me what's wrong with you, please. Like, I just get annoyed when they're like, stuff's going wrong and I feel like I'm doing everything right but stuff's still going wrong. That's a pet peeve of mine. I mean, I'm sure I could probably try harder. Okay, I think that actually looks pretty good on there. I've wound it around. Oh god, we're dripping. Okay. I've wound it around a little bit. I'm not going to put this over the carpet because it will drip everywhere. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And it should be happy like that. Happier than it was before. I need to get more cash pots because I just need a bunch more that are like size 14. Oh, what was I saying? Gosh, sometimes in these videos I feel like I can like make a clear point and sometimes I don't. Oh yeah, my pet peeves. My pet peeve of plant parents is I don't know, when they don't Google stuff before asking me how to take care of their plants. I know I'm a quick and easy resource and I will try to help as best as I can, but sometimes it's like if you've asked me a question and I don't know the answer, and sometimes I just Google it and then the answer is like right there and I'm like, well, you could have done that. But it's fine, like, ask me for advice, that's fine. Realistically, how many plants do you think you've bought in the last 6 months? As some of you might know, I've been trying to cut down on my plant buying. This year, I've just been trying a little bit more to focus on the plants that I have and growing them big and strong and healthy and as pest-free as possible, rather than expanding my collection in like numbers. That being said, I still have bought plants and I've still traded plants and stuff like that. I think I've bought probably about a dozen plants this year, which is pretty good. I will go through and like properly count and put how many I have bought there but I think it is probably around 10-12 plants. I've been trying to be really good about it and not buy too many because I don't need that many. I have over 100 plants in my collection right now, which is, some might say, an insane amount. I say, yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, so I'd say 10 to 12 plants in the last 12 months. 12 months, 6 months. Last 12 months is a different story. I was buying plants like crazy this past year. And that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to cut it down a little bit. Oh, this is a juicy one. Do you ever wish you weren't a plant mom? No, I don't think I wish that. Sometimes I do get overwhelmed by my plants and the amount of care that they require. Sometimes it's a lot, and I do experience plant burnout. I am not immune to that in the slightest. I do get it quite regularly, but I don't regret it. Like, I honestly think finding plants was the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's like something that I care so much about, and like I absolutely love them so much. Like, I love them, and I love spreading knowledge about them and information and joy surrounding them. Like, if I can encourage other people to find love in houseplants, I will. And like, that's kind of why I did the plant swap and stuff, because I wanted to continue this sort of community aspect of it all and encourage people to explore and love and enjoy them. And that's why I started making videos, because I wanted to help people take care of them well and stuff like that. So it's just like, this is literally my dream. Making videos about plants and like sharing my love for them is my dream. It is my, like, I know that's the direction I need to be going at this point. And like, one day I hope to go like full time with YouTube and like literally just, Cleo's breaking up my nice sentimental moment. But like, I want to go full time and just focus on this and sharing that love and spreading that joy. Like, if I could do that, oh, that would just be me happy. I think it would definitely help with my mental health. Yeah, I don't regret it at all. Sometimes I get tired, and sometimes filming a video feels like the most difficult thing in the world, but for the most part, I absolutely love it, and I absolutely love my plants, and I love taking care of them, and they bring me so much joy mentally, and like, they allow me to meditate in a way, because I can't meditate. My brain can't just sit and be silent. It just doesn't work. Cleo, you're a little rascal. Can you calm down? Thanks. Yeah, I do get overwhelmed with plants, but sometimes, especially like, I have so many. I've got like over 100, which I know isn't a lot compared to some people who have like 600 or 300 or whatever. That's a lot of plants. How do you do it? Teach me your ways. Do you have a bigger home? Because I feel like I can't fit any more plants in my home. That's another reason why I stopped buying plants. And I'm trying to focus more on swapping, because then at least I get some out if I'm bringing some in. How do you have that many plants? Are your houses just like full? I feel like my house is already full. Where do you keep them all? So I'm just unpotting this Philodendron Splendid, which is doing super duper well. It has been in moss and perlite. I'm just trying to remove as much of the moss from the roots as possible and just get them nice and clear the best I can. It's kind of hard to distinguish what's root and what's moss, so it's okay. I'll just do it slowly and answer some more questions as I go. So now a personal question. If you could make one major change about your situation, what would it be and why? I don't know. Like, if I could teleport my flat and like all of its contents to California, like San Diego ideally, I think, because I freaking love it there. I did my uni there and absolutely loved it. I'm pretty sure San Diego is my happy place. It's just like sunny all the time. It's so nice. And like not too hot, and it's by the beach, and oh, like I just really want to live there again, and maybe I will someday, but having to clear out all of my plants to do that, That would make me so sad. And that's probably going to be one of the hardest things about making a move like that potentially one day, is having to give up some of my plants and start over. Oh, that'll be scary, but of course I'll bring you all along with me if it does happen. Don't think it'll happen anytime soon because obviously we bought this flat less than a year ago, so I think that's the main thing I would change. I don't actually want to move currently. I love where we live. I love how we're living. I think Joe likes how we're living. So I don't really want to change that much. I feel like I'm in a very happy place, which is good because I have suffered with like depression and stuff. And I do still get seasonal depression here. I think that's one of the hardest parts about living in the UK for me, is that there isn't that much light comparatively. Like I grew up in California where there's sunshine like most days of the year. And so moving to somewhere where there's not that and it's like gray a lot of the time, which like I thought I'd be okay with because in California I grew up like loving rain because you don't get it that much, and now if it's raining here I'm just like I don't want to leave the house. So it's just funny how it happens, and how like you say I loved the rain. I absolutely loved it in California. But that's because you needed it because we were in a drought all the time, and so you need it in order to like for things to grow and you not to be in a water shortage. But yeah, I think probably if I were to change one thing it would be living in California instead of here. But maybe that'll happen one day, maybe it won't. We will see. So for this one, because it's quite small, I'm going to make it a mini moss pole, a lazy moss pole. I actually am gonna do a tall mini moss pole. Yeah, because I feel like it's gonna grow quite quickly. So a tall mini moss pole will be good. Someone asked if I had any collabs lined up with planty people for my channel in the future. Yes, I do. I have a couple collabs coming up. I don't want to speak of them before they happen, Cleo, because I don't want to ruin the surprise. But I do have a couple coming up, which hopefully will come up in the next couple of months. I think they'll be really, really good, and I'm hoping that they go well. I do like a good collab. I recently just did one with Happy Plant Collector, and we did a little mystery plant swap video, which was super fun, where I gave her some cuttings and she gave me some cuttings, and it was a good time. Spilling stuff, and Cleo's going after my pencil. Go away, I'm busy. But yes, I do have a couple lined up for the future, which I'm super duper excited about, and you all should be as well, because it's going to be fun. If nothing else, it'll be a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh, because who doesn't want a bit of a laugh? Sorry if the camera angle changed a little bit. My battery died. Yeah. Sorry, I have to concentrate doing this because I'm still quite new at doing these lazy moss poles. There we go. That'll be good. Now I just need to stuff it with some moss. More questions. Ooh, I got a couple like either or, which do you prefer questions. So Alocasia or Anthurium? That is a freaking tough one. Oh my god, I don't know, I like them both so much. I think if I had to like only have one of the two, like if I had to get rid of all of my Alocasia or all of my Anthurium, I'd rather keep my Anthuriums. I just think they're the slightest bit easier to take care of than Alocasias. Alocasias are a bit more finicky. That being said, I freaking love my Alocasias, and I would prefer to not get rid of them if I had, like, if I didn't have to, I would like to keep them. But yeah, they do take a little bit more work. And then the other one was Syngonium or Philodendron. Purely because there's so much more variety, I'm gonna have to say Philodendrons. I do really, really love Syngoniums. I think they are beautiful, and I think that they are super fun, and I'm currently collecting a bunch right now. But like I said, if I could only have one set or the other, I would think I would rather Philodendrons, because there's just a little bit more variety in sort of leaf shape and growing style, and like you can have the hangy down ones as well as the growy uppy ones, so like there's just more variety there. Cleo, I know you want to be involved, but now's not the right time. Cleo. No, thank you. Can you go somewhere else, please, baby, and maybe have a nap? No, thanks. No, thanks. No, thanks, baby. Yeah. That's a good spot for you. I think that worked. Just plopped her on her bed. So I'm not going to fill this one like all the way full to the top with moss, purely because it doesn't need it. Because it's still quite a small little cutting. But I think halfway should be fine. Sorry, I realize you can't see that much with the bowl there. Oh, somebody else asked. Oh, what was it? It's like kind of in the similar vein. If you had to get rid of 5 of your plants in your collection, which would they be and why? Like, I like all of my plant babies. They're all special to me and important, and ideally I don't want to get rid of any of them. But one of them I think would have to be my big, like, regular Monstera. I've been feeling a bit iffy about it for a while. I know I've mentioned it in some of my videos that it's just not bringing me as much joy as it used to, which is a shame because it used to bring me so much joy, and I've been struggling with, sorry if that's loud, I've been struggling with thrips with it, so it's just like, why do you do that? But yeah, probably big Monstera is one. So I love my Sansevierias, my snake plants, but I don't feel like I need them in my life. Like, I like them in my life, and I would like to not get rid of them if I don't have to. But I feel like I don't need them. So that's 2. Because, like, my normal mother-in-law's tongue, and then my big Monstera. I feel like I'd keep everything that's in my cabinet because those are some of my favorite plants. Maybe my ZZ Raven. Like, I do really like it, and I like its dark black leaves, but it's just not brought me as much joy as some other things have for a while. I think it's just a bit more of a slow grower, which is fine. It's just, I've not seen that much out of it in the few years I've had it. Like, it's only grown new, like, sprouts once or twice, and I don't know if that's because I'm not giving enough light, because it's in quite a low light corner, or what, but it's just not doing the most, which is fine. It doesn't have to, but I would want it to. I could probably live without my Ficus elastica taniki. It's just fine. I don't need it, but I like it. So I'm not gonna get rid of it. I really liked him when it was big, but it just, one, didn't grow that well for me. It just didn't do anything for the longest time, which is kind of like, well, then what's the point? But yeah, probably that. So that's 4. And then 5. Oh, one more. Probably one of my golden pothos, because I've got 3 of them. I know that's a bit of a cheeky answer, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Yeah, probably one of them, because I have more than one, so I don't necessarily need more. Yeah, those are my 5. That's a hard question. Like, what 5 plants would you get rid of if you had to get rid of 5 plants from your collection? That's so tough. Oh my god. Oh, so I've finished putting that one on the pole now. I think it looks really good. I think it'll adjust to being on here well. I really hope it does, at least. And I've got lots more room up here for more moss when it gets a little bit bigger, which it will. I realized I can't put this back where it was in the IKEA cabinet, so I need to do a big rearrange in there. I just repotted my Gloriosum, and I put it in a new pot, and it did not fit anymore. So I kind of need to go through and maybe graduate some plants from there. I'm a bit nervous to do that because I've heard people having trouble with graduating their plants from the cabinet into their homes, because like, obviously it's not as ideal of an environment. So I'm a bit nervous about it, but it should be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Will you stand up? Yes. Okay. So funnily enough, I think I'm actually gonna put my Skindapsis into one of these cups because I think I need to reroot it, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna put perlite on the bottom and then a bit of moss and then my cutting. Sad. So this has been out of the cabinet actually for a little bit. I might put it back in because I feel like it was preferring life in there. But that is fine. Oh, I got a couple of this question. What is like your #1 wish list plant or your top wish list plant right now? I think I'm gonna do a full video on like my current wish list plants because I feel like I've got several. I think my #1 wish list plant right now is an Anthurium warocquianum, or the Queen Anthurium. I just think they're gorgeous and the leaves are like so long and they just, I love how Anthurium leaves grow and they start out so small and then they get so big. I just think that would look so, oh, it's so pretty. So yeah, I think that's my #1 wish list plant at the minute. I hope maybe I can get it by the end of 2022. I've not really seen them in the UK that much lately. There was like kind of a wave of them for a while and then not. I know I could import one, but do I really want to import it and like have to deal with its stress? I mean, maybe. I've had quite good luck importing Anthuriums, so maybe it would be totally fine. I don't know. It's just a thought. I think I'm going to pot up with a little moss pole. This Skindapsis Silver Hero cutting. It's got some roots going around the bottom and it's like it's growing new growth, so I think it is time for a bit of a change up. But it's got a really nice root on here, this. Oh, let's enter another question while I do this. Cat or boyfriend? That is so hard of a question. Oh my goodness, because like of course I love my boyfriend, but I also love my cat. Okay. So, if I didn't have my boyfriend or my boyfriend didn't have me, he would be able to carry on sustaining life. He would be okay. I mean, it would suck. I would never want to break up with him. I like him too much for that. But he would carry on. Whereas Cleo, if she didn't have me, I don't like, it'd be much harder for her to carry on. Would she just be a street cat? That'd be sad. So I'm kind of tempted to say Cleo purely for that reason. Look at that root. That's such a cute little root. It's all like swirly around the bottom there. But yeah, so for that reason I'm picking Cleo. I'm very sorry, Joe. I love you dearly, but just because Cleo wouldn't be able to live without me. And you would. If you're watching this, sorry. No, I love him dearly, and I don't want him to go anywhere. So I would like to have both places, if at all possible. What is my current favorite plant? My current favorite plant, I'm pretty sure it's my Gloriosum. I am absolutely in love with that thing. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and it's growing so well for me, and it's just so happy. I just love it so much. So I think that's probably my favorite plant at the minute. What are my favorite colors? Black, which I know isn't a color, it's like a hue or something. But black is one of them. I just like to wear it. It goes with everything. Easy, simple. Green, obviously. My favorite shade of green is like a sagey kind of grayish blue green, or like a deep foresty green. Those are my favorites. I mean, it makes sense because I like black plants and I like blue plants, so I'm not surprised that those are my favorites. I also really like the color purple. I just think it's a pretty color. But yeah, those are my favorite colors. The last plant I bought was a Hoya. I kind of forgot its like proper name off the top of my head, but it's like gorgeous. It's got really splashy leaves and I just love splashy leaves. I think they're so pretty. Little silvery splashes. Who wouldn't want that? But that's the most recent plant I bought. I haven't got it yet. I literally just paid for it yesterday. Says the girl who's on a plant ban and isn't buying plants, blah, blah, blah. Really holding myself to that with strong effort. Oh, someone asked if I have a morning/night routine. My morning routine is wake up, have a cup of tea if I can. Tea is becoming ingrained in my life now. That I've been living in the UK. It's just so nice. And I'm not really a coffee person, so tea is lovely. Have a cup of tea and leave the house. That's if I'm going to work. If I'm doing like YouTube stuff, I can get away with a bit more of a chill one. I don't really eat that much breakfast. No, that's a lie. Do I eat breakfast? I go through phases of like, yes, breakfast is the most important thing in my life, and then not eating breakfast for like 2 months. I think it just depends on my situation and stuff. I think in the winter I end up eating more of a breakfast because I need it to like wake me up in the morning. And then night routine, I try and read before I go to bed if I can. I really like to read before I go to bed, and it's good to like not have a screen right before I go to bed. I think that's probably good for my mental health. Aside from that, I don't really like wash my face or anything. And like, of course, in the shower, water goes on my face, but I don't like do like a skincare routine or anything. Except for like putting on SPF, that's important. Someone's asked what my favorite thing about my recent plant swap was. Oh, that's such a hard question. Oh, it went so well. Oh my goodness, I could not have asked for a better plant swap. If you haven't seen my plant swap vlog / haul video, go check it out. It honestly went better than I could have ever expected. I was so thrilled about it. I had so much fun, and I think that everybody else had a really great time as well. Honestly, I think the best part of it was just meeting people. I've been speaking to people on the internet about plants, especially through Instagram, for literal years now. And I've only met a handful of like planty people just because it's just never really happened, and like oftentimes people don't live close and stuff like that, or I'm not aware that they live close or something, and so I just don't meet up with people. I'm also kind of like a little bit of a recluse. Just like leave me alone with my plants most of the time. So just meeting these people that I've been chatting with for ages has been so good. Like, oh, it was just so good, and everyone was so friendly and nice, and the plant community is just like, I'm just so grateful to be a part of it. It's so nice. It means the world to me to be part of this like overwhelmingly friendly, kind, generous, caring community. Like, I literally couldn't ask for a better community. And like, especially on the internet where there's so many people out there who are just like, not hateful, but a little bit. Like, it's just so good to have a group of people that I can just be myself around. I feel like I can be myself and just like nerd out about plants and just like info dump about them. Because like we all have one thing in common, and I bet it's the same like if you like as any collector going to sort of like a convention for that collection. It's probably just like that, where you can just like nerd out about things together because we all have like one common interest. So yeah, I think just meeting everybody and having a fun little nerdy planty time was my favorite thing. Like, I'm still riding a high from that swap. It made me so happy. Okay. So now I'm going to put this in the pot, put some bark in, and then put some soil in. Goodness, now I feel like this is gonna outgrow this pole in like a minute and a half. Whatever, it'll be fine for now. And the good thing about lazy poles is they're really easy to deconstruct and make new ones because they're lazy. Yeah, that should be fine. Okie doke. And then I have one more thing to repot. These philodendron silver sword cuttings. Do I want to put it on a bowl? Do I want to put it on a pole? Am I ever gonna regret not putting it on a pole? I'm probably gonna want to put it on a pole, aren't I? I have a fat pole. Oh, but then I need to pot it really big. Probably gonna regret this later, but I'm not putting it on a poll. I'm not, just not. It'll be fine. Oh, okay. Let's get another question up. I have a couple questions about alocasias here. So one, my Alocasia amazonica has stopped growing new leaves and the biggest old one is turning brown. That doesn't sound very good. Obviously, it depends where you're located. If you're in the northern hemisphere and you're about to go into summer, it's probably something that you want to keep an eye on. It might be worth repotting if that's the case. I'm having a look at the plant's roots and seeing if there's any rot involved. I find that alocasias can be really picky and sensitive to things like rot because they've got quite fine roots. And so you might want to have a look down in there. It also depends on how you're taking care of it. Is it getting enough light? Is it in too dark of a space? Is it getting enough humidity? It's kind of hard to say without getting a picture of it. But my first thought is have a look at the roots. That tends to be what needs to happen. If you are living in the southern hemisphere and you're about to go into winter, I wouldn't worry too much. It's probably going a bit dormant since the days are getting shorter and it's darker and the weather's probably not as good. So if that's the case, I wouldn't worry. But of course, I don't know where you live, so keep an eye on it. Also, inspect for pests, because pests could cause leaves to go brown. When you say your oldest leaf, do you mean like the oldest leaf on the plant, the one that has been on the plant the longest? If so, then that is kind of normal depending how long you've had the plant. Alocasias can kind of react badly to being moved. So if you've just gotten it and it's new to you, it's probably likely that it's losing some older growth, and that is fairly normal. If it isn't new, then you might have something more to worry about, but alocasias tend to drop old leaves when they're about to put out new ones, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. As long as you've not lost all of its leaves, then that's when you need to start worrying about it. The other question was, what alocasia would you recommend for a place with 40 to 50% humidity? That is a little bit low for alocasias, but there's some things you can do to help boost it. If that's what your house is, like with loads of plants around and even using like pebble trays and stuff like that, maybe alocasias aren't for you. If that's like with no extra anything, you could do something like put on pebble tray. You could put it in pond with like a water reservoir, group plants together to naturally boost the humidity. But which alocasia would be best? I think my Gagiana has been living outside of all sort of extra humid things, like not near other plants or anything, for quite a while. It's quite a big one, and so they can handle a little bit more. But yeah, maybe try that. Your Alocasia Gagiana, they can tolerate a bit more, not abuse, but humidity abuse. Goodness, these are like really packed on, these roots. Much more than I thought they would be. How much does plant care play into your mental health and well-being routine / check-ins? I think it plays quite a lot into it. Like I said, I don't really meditate, and so like taking care of my plants is kind of a form of meditation where I can just focus on them and taking care of them and making sure that they're happy and healthy and in a good environment and pest-free and living their best lives. And I can like think about that instead of worrying about other things that might be going on in my life or in the world. And I can kind of just like leave that kind of stuff behind. So it is a very meditative process for me. It's a bit less so now if I'm filming stuff all the time, but even still, like just going through and sitting and taking the moss away from this plant's roots, it's like, it's a very gentle thing and it's calming and relaxing, and it does have a positive mental health effect on me for sure. And I know I'm not the only one who experiences that. I don't really think like if I'm feeling anxious, I don't just go up to my plants and like go try and check on them to help with my anxiety or anything like that, unless it's plant related anxiety, then sometimes I do. But yeah, I don't really have like a routine when it comes to self-care. I have a plant care routine, if that counts as self-care. Plant care is self-care, is it? I think I've heard someone say that before. But yeah, oh my goodness, this is really tough to get out. I'm just gonna silently do this for a couple minutes because I'm not able to concentrate on it enough, I don't think, at the minute. So give me a minute. Enjoy this quick musical interlude. Okay, so I have got as much of the moss off the roots as possible. This one doesn't have nearly as much roots as I thought it did, but this one's got loads, so I think it'll be okay. They'll be fine. And if they don't, I can always take this one out and put it back in moss. So, are there any plants that don't like a humidifier? I mean, when it comes to tropical plants, I think most of them are gonna like the humidifier quite a lot. They will like having that boost of humidity. But that's just because in their like natural habitat, like where they're from originally, they're used to a very, very humid environment. And so of course they're gonna like that boost. So most tropical plants, things like succulents and cacti, most of them will like it less. They would like drier air more. Things that can tolerate less humidity or like not being around a humidifier, I say things like Monstera adansonii, Monstera deliciosa, like the green form, the albos, and like ties. I feel like they do better by a humidifier, but they don't need it. Of course, pothos and sort of philodendron like heartleaf, Brazil, micans, those sort of ones can handle not being near a humidifier. Or if you have like not the most humid home. Snake plants, they like humidity, but they don't need it. String of hearts, so stuff like that, I think is probably your best bet. Most plants will prefer, or at least tropical plants will prefer being near a humidifier though. So if they have the choice between having it and not, they'd rather have it. There we go. All potted up. So good. So I think that is where I'm going to end this video. I did 5 pot ups, which is pretty good. And it's gonna be really long, and I've answered loads of questions. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of thing, let me know down below in the comments, and let me know other houseplanty videos that you'd like me to make in the future. And give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!